Guys, thanks for tuning in. We're back this week with something that's, obviously fresh off the back of the PGA show for us is still introducing new product to the store.
Absolutely.
We've still got more and more stuff coming through. Every week, new club heads, new shafts, and more stuff to introduce to you guys and test. And obviously, you guys are curious about a lot of this and how it compares to some of the older product.
For sure.
So we wanted to focus this episode specifically on the new hot shafts for 2019.
Absolutely.
Some of the most talked about and kind of eagerly anticipated launch products of the year.
For sure. We did some coverage with some of the experts and the people kind of on the engineering team at Fujikura and Accra and some of these companies. And I think that generated quite a bit of interest from the channel to say, okay, can you guys bring these back to the shop and get sort of into more of a scientific test, which is exactly what we're going to do. We've got 4 we're going to test today. But important to say there's others coming. So if you're curious
Lots more coming.
Yeah, if you're curious about graphite design, for example, next video we'll have some of those. So don't think this is the only video, but we're going to start with these 4 that you're about to introduce.
Yeah, exactly. So we've chosen 4 of the hot ones. Ventus which we covered at the show, which we talked a little bit about with Alex D, about the kind of manufacturing process and the development of that using Enzo and the kind of full length 70-ton pitch fiber, which helps the shaft retain its structural integrity, making sure that it doesn't droop, twist, lose its energy through the bending process. Okay, so when you get into these higher grades of pitch fiber, basically they increase in strength.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it's always been the case that you normally can't use these materials for full length of the shaft. They normally use them in what they call flags, which is layers basically.
Okay.
So they'll have some different variant grades of graphite layered up into create a certain bend profile.
And is that a cost savings thing? Is that
there's a
weight
bit
thing?
of cost. Yeah, generally speaking, the lower grade, the fiber, the cheaper it is to source.
Gotcha.
So, and the other part is it becomes somewhat less functional to use the extremely brittle, fibers as well. So, in this case, 70-ton pitch fiber, which is significantly stronger than things like T1100, which is very commonly, known as one of the stiffest shafts out there. The Project X Hazardous T1100. This is significantly stronger than that in Ventus. But like we talked about in that video, it's hidden in the manufacturing process because you can't feel it.
Yeah,
and I'll be curious to see what you think when you actually hit it.
Right.
So Ventus is obviously hot. TZ5 TZ6 from Accra. Accra, which is going to be 2 of our most popular shafts, I would imagine, for the new season.
You're quite excited about these.
Yeah, definitely. I've been playing TZ5 for a while. I have tried TZ6. I much prefer to the TZ5. It maps exactly to the bend profile I gravitate towards.
Gotcha.
And the other one is from VA Shafts. We've got the new Raijin Black.
Really good looking product,
Looks good,
first and foremost. I think that's what attracts people too, but there's some interesting technology in there that we'll get into.
There is.
That you think is going to suit a lot of people that come through the shop.
Yeah, so cool.
Okay,
so without kind of digging too deep into it, we'll do that as we're hitting them.
Perfect.
Let's start with this guy.
TZ5.
Now, let's talk to the weight of this one, because
Sure.
we had a little chat earlier, didn't we, about something that was a conversation piece at the PGA show. You were curious about weight.
I think, I've never, well, I shouldn't say never. In all the time that we've been doing this, I've always, and you've always chosen stuff kind of in the 60 to 70 gram range.
Yeah, normally high 60s, isn't it?
Yeah.
We stick to our
that
lane.
range, right?
Yeah.
And we were just hitting a couple balls at the Accra Day where they have all the new product. And I was hitting a few with, I think it was like an 80 gram shaft.
It was an 85 gram.
Yeah, so I don't know why, and it may have just been that day with my timing that day, or maybe I was just warming up. Was seeming to hit it well.
Right.
So I just was curious about it just because we hadn't really tried it for me.
Yeah.
I've heard you talk about how weight, can be beneficial for other players.
Right.
But this being a bit of a heavier profile, it'll be interesting to see how that kind of changes my ball flight.
So we have decided to stay with Old Faithful for this one.
Yes. So G400 LST, my driver.
Yeah.
Until an official replacement has been.
The speculation is rife on the internet, Matty.
It's going to be a lot.
People need to know what you're going with.
Solid, 4 or 5 drivers to test before we can make a decision. Again, we've got 2 feet of snow coming tomorrow. I'm not in any hurry.
I know.
And there's really no rush.
I think though, M5, unlikely.
Definitely
M6, maybe.
Maybe.
Any Epic Flash stuff? Probably not.
I would like to revisit it, but I wasn't in love with it.
Okay.
Like G410, I'm interested.
G410, very curious.
Just because I have a feeling. Well, I mean, it would be strange if it didn't at least give me good numbers.
Definitely.
So yeah, there's definitely still ones to test, and my swing has changed, so it'll be interesting.
Is there a leader in the clubhouse right now? Between
I think if
Cobra
I
and
bought
Mizuno?
one right now, I'd probably just buy the Mizuno, because I honestly think that performance was more or less the same, but I do think I hit the Mizuno straighter. For whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people I think will have their own opinions, but to be fair, we just haven't hit that many balls.
Yeah.
It's not like we've hit 1,000 balls with each.
No, I know.
That was my first impression, but
it's coming.
It's coming.
The actual real
shootout, right?
decider, the fit for the season.
Yes.
Is coming.
We'll have to do that live, I think.
I think we need to go back to doing those. Yeah.
Yep. Get the webcam out. Okay. So TZ5.
Yep. Good swing.
Pretty well hit. Yep.
Very good swing. Yeah, lovely strike.
Certainly a lot of output for that speed, wasn't it?
You feeling that was just a smoothie?
Definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that to be up at 175.
Smoothie.
I think, and we've gotten lots of comments. My efficiency hasn't been great lately. Like I've been seemingly putting a lot of output into it, but it's hard to know exactly why that is. But
the nature of these things is when you get a little bit quicker, it's hard to retain as much efficiency.
Is that right?
The difference of being efficient at 90 miles an hour and 130 is it's hard to drive that car as well as you can when you drive it at 60 miles an hour.
True.
That's
a good way of putting it. I didn't mind that opening swing. A little right,
nice,
but
wasn't it? I like the shape.
that got stuck.
There's our good old friend, the heavy shaft. Again,
yeah. So this is what when we came back and I asked you like, what do you think about me trying a heavier shaft? And I hit some balls. That's what was happening. It's just like this wiper left over and over again. It just
kind of gets a little bit trapped behind the hands.
So that club path was 8 degrees into out. That's way too much. I try to keep it 4-ish, 4 or 5.
Okay.
And that's my miss. So for someone that's over the top, I guess a little more weight might help, but it's probably not the most suitable for me. It's a better time swing.
That was nice. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to throw away that second one.
Yeah, it was. I can't entirely blame the shaft for that. It feels. I feel quite a bit of handle stiffness in this. Does that make sense? It feels stiff, kind of under my hands.
Okay.
Does that match what the profile is, or not really?
Again, it's the opposite, but it's a bit soft on the handle. Yeah, but with all these things, though,
it's perception, I guess.
It's perception. It's how you kind of cause that shaft to load. I mean, certain people who really kind of pull down harder will feel the shaft different. I think for me, I love that that's TZ5, softer butt section, really stiff tip section. I cast it quite a bit. So for me, I don't really load up the handle anyway. Right. So I kind of throw the wrist angles away.
Interesting.
Whereas you're different. You retain more of a constant radius between sort of the shaft and your left arm and the way down. You don't really increase it too much. You're not a heavy loader like a Sergio or something. Right. But you're certainly not somebody who throws it away either.
So that will change the way that I guess it's bending in a different fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a bad swing.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, you probably got it enough in the toe that it saved the the flight. Remarkably consistent, actually. These ones. Actually, it was dead centre, Matty. I'm doing you an injustice there.
Striking is definitely about as good as I do. I feel a little. I guess, sluggish with it. I probably don't feel like I can really.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as dynamic. Look how high it goes.
That's goofy, isn't it?
162, I mean, that's seriously high.
So face a little open, maybe a bit in the toe, and it kind of ended up being a high push drop.
Yeah, retained quite a lot of loft.
Yeah. Interesting, eh?
Very interesting. Okay, hit 2 more, then we'll switch it out. We'll go over to the TZ6 and give you a kind of direct comparison, between those 2 opposite profiles.
It's a little low on the face.
You wouldn't be unhappy with the result of that.
Yeah. I don't know that this totally suits my timing, but I can see someone who wants to get just a little low on the face. Someone who wants to get a little bit more from the inside, I can see this being a great option maybe to test with them. Yeah, somebody who gets a little bit, a little anxious from the top, throws it a little bit, jumpy.
Could probably enjoy something that's a little more meaty. Probably stop them, just feel, they probably know where the club is a little bit more.
Okay, gotcha. I think that's the
best. That sounded like your best one.
Yeah, it's the best one I hit with it so far.
Nice job. That was really good. All right, that's nice.
It's very stable. I'll say it seems to be getting a lot of ball speed for the amount of swing speed out of that. Good energy transfer.
Yeah, very good energy transfer. I mean, that's unusually high.
It's definitely more efficiency than I usually get.
Okay, Matthew.
Okay.
TZ6.
TZ6, now we're 65 gram range.
Yeah. Not one we carry in the 75 gram range, so we'll bring you back to where your sort of comfort zone is.
Definitely feels a little lighter in the hand. I feel like I could swing faster right away.
Does it? Feel more dynamic?
Of all the things, to be honest with you, that I suck at perceiving, I think weight is the only one that I consistently can feel a difference in. Everything else, sometimes I'm as I just illustrated with the bend point and the just being completely wrong. But 10 grams, just the total weight of the club really feels different.
Okay.
That was a good start.
I think that swing there seems to be the one that when you have heavier weight, you struggle with.
It goes way left because the face stays open, I guess.
That was a monster. I mean, you've obviously got to get a little extra run out the green, but that was
No, you're right. You don't get away with that when I let it get, I guess, sloppy and kind of hang pack.
Mm-hmm. Killed it.
Yeah, that was a good one.
You're doing well with this shaft, Matty.
Like it, yeah.
It's got some legs.
It's pretty good. I'm drawing them a bit, but I tend to aim left and draw it back anyway. Launch and spin are fairly consistent. I think the spin was down mostly because I struck it a bit higher in the face, which is, I like that. I've been striking my driver shaft combo low on the face, consistently low on the face.
Well, that's such an interesting thing, isn't it? And I think, you've been fascinated by this whole notion that we're shifting strike points around the head with different shafts. But we are, looking at that, you can, visualize yourself. The player who struggles to square up the heavy one is delivering the club in heel first.
That's what it feels like.
The player that can square and feel like the rotation increases more can deliver it more toe side. Okay. There's no doubt about that. So, our ability to shift it from one point to the other will be determined by bend profile, weight, all these sort of things that you feel within your swing.
I wish I had to film my warm-up because the strike point average on my driver shaft would have been
so low.
Very low center.
I know. And now look at it. So you take a shaft that by all kind of descriptions would be considered a softer tip, higher launch and shaft. Well, it sure is. It's the higher launch, but it's lower spin, way lower spin.
Yep. And basically all because of the strike pattern. Yeah, it's interesting. Do you want to see one more with this?
Yeah.
I like this.
Let's give this one the treatment.
Some treatment. All right.
A little low in the head.
Low in the face, yeah. I certainly love that on the course, though.
Yeah. This one's so playable. So playable.
Tell you what, this head is not slow.
And that shaft is awfully good for you.
Yeah.
Look at that little dispersion circle.
That's really nice. And we said it when we were trying the, what driver were we trying last time where I had probably, about as good a dispersion circle as I've had in a while? That was Mizuno and something, but that was quite similar.
Mizuno and Raijin, wasn't it?
That was a similar kind of result, wasn't it?
Okay, so literally a brand new one. It's been in the shop for 3 days.
Okay, what's new?
The new Raijin Black.
Very sharp.
You like it? You like the graphics in this one, don't you?
It looks really, well, I like a flat finish. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I was just saying to you, it matches this head to the point where it's almost
the
like they collaborated.
Black and copper tones. I think the kind of flat matte black is a big, seems to be kind of big this year. Velux have a new one called Mansion.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Which is really nice as well.
Right.
So
tell me about the profile of this. Obviously the Raijin normal one we've tried.
Yes, and you hit it well.
I liked it quite a bit.
And this is very interesting because you've hit Raijin well. It's a little bit soft on the tip section. Would be considered stable.
It's got some kick to it, that
It's got a bit of kick, you can feel it. This one is significantly stiffer than that.
Okay.
So this is designed for your guys, your loaders, your guys are really kind of
stiffer throughout the whole shaft, basically?
A lot stiffer and very stiff in the tip section.
Okay. Just a bad swing.
Tell you what, never really got away from you too much though.
No,
just more pulled than hooked.
A pulled heel strike would be, yep.
So yeah. That was nice. That's a
contact.
That's a seriously long one.
Contact felt high toe again, but it didn't hurt me dispersion wise, did it?
I mean, you know my thoughts on low spin shafts and all that sort of stuff. This is a low spin combination.
Yes. It's definitely
quite
moving.
a lot less than the other ones.
Yeah, like it's moving the strike way up to the toe right away, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So you're actually a little lower in ball speed, but you are higher in launch and lower in spin.
Huh.
Very long combo. What are you feeling with this one? Because you're not as consistent with it.
No, it's funny. I'd like to put my finger on it for you, but I'm not entirely sure. To be honest with you, I'm kind of looking up, expecting to see
better shots.
A straight ball is just not going. It doesn't feel like silly stiff or anything. It feels quite nice during the swing. I just think I have to look at the numbers, but maybe I'm getting a little bit stuck behind me or something.
Okay.
Yeah. It just wants to get maybe a little bit in that.
This one has a long, long ball in it.
The strike pattern is consistently up there, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at that spin rate. 14, 21, 1500.
So a much stiffer profile like this, because it's deflecting less, would make sense that I'm hitting higher up on the club. It's kind of shallowing the angle a little bit coming into the strike.
Yeah.
That's better.
Lower in the head?
A little bit. Still a bit high. It's cool though, because the difference between that shaft and mine, I think they feel similar while swinging, but the strike point difference between that and my shaft are completely different. They'd be like 20 millimeters apart.
Right.
It's better.
Yeah, it's just when you cross the line like that, it's very low spin.
Yeah. That again, the strike point's high.
I mean, if we go back to our most popular ever video, Matty, longest driver versus most accurate driver, there would be a good case that the Accra TZ6 would be your most accurate combo. This would be a longer combo for you.
Just because it seems to be giving those high launch, low spin numbers.
It's just got that low spinner. But, the dispersion with it is kind of, pretty wide relative to relative to the Accra. Low spin combo.
That's a low spin combo for sure. I mean, there's not a whole lot that's made my driver head low spin lately.
No. Very, very little. Especially recently.
Yeah.
Especially recently.
What is that?
Has he ever hit? That 362 one's going to be awfully close, the one you hit a minute ago.
That was a smelly strike, that one.
Quite a good result though, wasn't it?
It's good, yeah.
Good,
it
good
felt
looking
awful,
flight.
but it went like really straight. Well, I guess that's the point of the technology.
Look at those two.
Yeah. This feels really nice.
Tell you look like you can swing this one really, really good.
I think I would just blame myself for getting a bit shut on that, but otherwise felt really, really good. This feels really comfortable.
So maybe, something with some weight, but in the right profile is better for you.
Yeah, this doesn't feel heavy anymore. I don't know, would this be 75 grams like the...
Yep, it will be for sure.
Is. So it's obviously the balance of where that weight is.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting if we put the Ventus and the TZ6 together.
Yeah, they're
quite similar.
So on paper, are they similar profiles or are they quite different?
Quite different.
Interesting. They seem to be delivering a similar result, don't they? That felt good.
Yeah, that was nice.
Get my start line sorted on that one. So I like this Ventus, but I don't think I'm striking it as consistently.
The numbers probably don't quite tell the story. We've had to delete a few
There's some wayward ones
strikes that have strayed away.
Now I will say a couple really terrible strikes, like way up high, ended up with a result that were like good. They were good shots. So whether that technology is, feasible, it seems to be. But the ball actually starts left properly with this, doesn't it? Interesting.
Very stable with that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Just hitting it a lot more solid. I can't fault other shafts, but the strike point is definitely more centered from the way I swing with this one.
Okay, so that was a nice little comparison of four of the kind of hot shafts for I think the quicker swing speeds out there.
Okay.
I think that's kind of where these shafts would probably be utilised the most, especially Raijin Black.
That one being a very stiff profile, obviously.
Very, very stiff. Probably TZ5, pretty stable and stiff as well. And then the other ones maybe get a little more play in the lower weights and flexes. But
the engineers at Fuji were saying that theoretically any swing speed with the correct weight and flex could be playing one of these.
I think we'll do a bunch of these at
with that one in
5R, 6S.
Yeah.
I think we'll do a lot of those this year.
Because that technology should just translate across whoever. I mean, as long as you don't hit the ball in the dead center every time, which pretty much no one does, then it should have some benefit to you.
I just think if you're a pretty mediocre to poor driver of the golf ball and you put a G400 Max and a Ventus, kind of get it weighted and balanced, and maybe a fraction short if you're struggling with contact, I can't see how that wouldn't be such a good combination.
Just get you in play more often.
Definitely.
No matter what else. Yeah.
So much forgiveness.
Yeah. Really, really interesting to see four, shafts that are just producing completely different results.
All different results.
Really different. So you could maybe look at the dispersion and ball flight between Ventus and TZ6. Similar sort of results.
Similar results, the most similar.
But I didn't strike, for whatever reason, the weight balance, I didn't strike Ventus in the center nearly as often.
No.
And again, I'm not blaming the shaft on that, just I guess the way my delivery is, it just didn't quite suit the strike point on that.
And to be honest, we've selected some different weights and different things trying to represent some of the faster swingers who are watching. Maybe next time we do it, we do 6X in all of them. Because the TZ5 and the Ventus were both 75 gram X. So, maybe the weight of that's probably why you liked TZ6 certainly, but Raijin was good when you hit it well. That's probably your longest drives came from Raijin Black.
For sure.
Just it came a little low spin at times.
And again, like if someone is a fast swinger and they can't get out of the bottom of the head, like try that.
Yeah.
Because I've never hit more shots, I guess, slightly above center than I was with that.
It's interesting, isn't it? Again, that reduction of deflection in the tip section seems to be something that's really key to striking it a bit higher, isn't it?
I'd like to see something like that explains high launch, low spin in a rational sense. It's high launch, low spin because strike is high, which produces high launch, low spin.
Definitely. Well, I mean, one thing we will see, none of these shafts are particularly cheap either.
No.
Raijin Black is going to be one of the more expensive aftermarket shafts in the market this year.
Yep.
I want to say $500 US retail. Accra somewhere in the region of sort of $370, $380 US retail.
Yep.
Ventus is probably $350, $375 as well.
Yep.
So none of them are the cheaper options. They are the real premium options, but that tends to be what the guys who swing the hardest end up
with. And I think that's just the nature of probably the product releases too, because we were at the show. These are their sort of #1 products. That's why everything is, I guess we got all this stuff first. But we'll be testing stuff in different price brackets if anyone's looking to save a few bucks on shafts. And there's obviously people that this will suit, and a shaft that's $225 might be better for someone just by function of how it works for them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good
first episode of this.
Yeah,
Lots more to come.
I think we've got plenty more to come. Let us know, guys, if there's anything more that you want us to test with.
For sure.
We were chatting earlier on sort of graphite design VR. We have Velix Mansion to test. We've got more iron shafts. We're bringing in some KBS iron shafts.
People will be happy to hear that.
Yeah, we've got more fairway wood stuff coming in, which I think is, I'm excited to do some fairway wood stuff.
Definitely.
So lots more to come.
Awesome.
Okay, excellent. Guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.